Hello everyone, welcome to another video. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look back at a computer that I built just before Christmas, which was the Ryzen 7 1700X. I would obviously like to thank all the people that was involved in making that video possible, like Zotac, AData, eBuyer, etc. Just to be able to have the opportunity to build such an amazing machine and to be able to play with it like I did, because I would like to show you the results of that. I know that a lot of people have done videos on the Ryzen 7 1700X, but I would like to give you my point of view on it as well, because everybody uses different parts and my results may vary from other people's. I did actually play around with overclocking the memory and underclocking the memory just to try and find the sweet spot of the system. So let's talk about it. So looking at CAM, you can see that the clock speed is just sitting at 2196 100 megahertz. This is at stock speed. As you can see, I'm using the Ryzen 7 1700X and the GeForce GTX 1080, using 16GB of memory on the Asus Prime X370 Pro motherboard. Okay, I did see the system fluctuate very slightly on temperature wise. The Captain X RGB done a fantastic job of cooling this beast down, and I saw temperatures between 31 and 29 degrees, which was absolutely fantastic. And the airflow coming through the AeroCool P7 case meant that the actual graphics card and everything else stayed a beautiful 30 odd degrees as well, which is absolutely fantastic. So I saw no thermal throttling at all. Absolutely fantastic. So looking at them results, I decided to run user benchmark just to see what we can get. I doubt it'll come as a surprise to you, but the system did score a gaming score of 114%, the desktop at 100% and the workstation at 109. This thing is an absolute beast. So looking down at the processor, as you can see, the clock speed here, it is actually clocked at 3.5 gigahertz. Got an 80.1%, which is absolutely fantastic. The graphics card 140%. This thing, guys, is the NVIDIA GTX 1080, and it is the AMP Extreme Edition from Zotac. AData, this was absolutely amazing. This is an M.2 drive. It's the SX8000, and as you can see, 181%. This thing is like a rocket. The system, from turning it on to being fully loaded and booted up, takes no less than 6 seconds. It is absolutely rapid fast. And moving down onto the hard drive, I did just grab any hard drive just to put it into this machine whilst running all the tests, etc. It did score 39.8, which is not bad, but it'll do just for the sake of the video. Moving on to the memory, I did use the Crucial Ballistix Sport in white. This scored 85.4%, which is actually really good for memory. So far, I have not seen much more better than this. So definitely like to play with some more memory and find out what the best kit is for Ryzen. Okay, so after doing a little bit of overclocking, as you can see here, the system itself is set to 3.8. It's shown on the clock speed there as 3792, and I've ranked the memory all the way up to 2666, and this seems to be running very good and very stable at the moment. So moving on to the actual results of the user benchmark at these speeds, the gaming has hit 111, the desktop 108, and the workstation at 116. And as you can see, the adjustments on the right hand side, the memory is running at 2.7 gigahertz. So moving on to the processor, we can see here that it scored an 85.3, running at a base clock of 3.8 gigahertz. The graphics card again scored an amazing hit, absolutely beautifully, 128% outstanding. The SSD from AData, look at that. 202% outstanding. Is there anything that can stop this thing? And same old rubbishy score for the hard drive. But look at the memory. Why has that gone down? I've put the memory speed up, but the benchmark has gone down. Strange. 75.6%. Very good. I could live with that, but I'm a little bit disappointed as to why the benchmark has actually dropped when I've got the memory clocked faster. Let's have a look at that and try dropping the memory down. So now with the memory clocked down to 2400, let's see what the results are. Wow, gaming 114%, desktop 95, that's still pretty good, and the workstation 109. Wow. This is crazy. This is absolutely mad. As you can see here, the confirmation over on the right hand side, the memory is at 2.4 gigahertz. This is crazy. I've dropped the memory speed, but I'm getting better results. Right, okay, this one's definitely going to have to be investigated and cover this in another video. But yeah, where do people find this faster RAM memory for Ryzen is better? No, surely not, because this is proving otherwise. Definitely worth investigating that further. So moving on to Cinebench, we can see here that this PC scored 1442. As you can see in the left hand corner here, all 8 cores and 16 threads are enabled at 3.4 gigahertz. Pretty impressive score. So obviously I decided to crank it back up to 3.8. And we scored 1583. Wow, that's actually quite a bit of a jump. Looking at that, just to confirm, 8 cores, 16 threads at 3.8 gigahertz. That is really, really impressive. And look, guys, it's even beating an Intel Core i7-3930K. This is impressive. So with all the boring bit out the way, this is what you've came to see, how well it performs at gaming. Well, Unigine Heaven benchmark scored 135 frames per second. The score 3401. As you can see here, the confirmation that it's currently sat at 3.3 gigahertz, just in the middle there. So not too bad, pretty good. So let's crank it up to 3.8 and run it again. Wow, that's a bit of a difference. Not. Okay, so frames per second only increased for about 20 frames per second. That really isn't much. But it scored 157. The score is actually not too bad. That's gone up quite a bit. 3,957. And as you can confirm there, it's running at 3792 megahertz. So not a bad score. I personally think it should have got a lot higher than that. But never mind. So enough of the synthetic benchmarks. Let's play a bit of PUBG, see how it goes. Okay, at the start in the aeroplane I did see a couple of dips to as low as 30 frames per second. After playing it for quite some time, I have actually had the game on Ultra 1080p settings, and it is just constantly smooth, well over the 60 frames per second mark. I did actually hit near the 90s at some point, and as low as 50s during the actual gameplay, actually running around killing people, etc. So the gameplay was very, very smooth and very, very enjoyable. Moving on, I had to test out CSGO. It's just lol, really, isn't it? But anyway, I set this at 1080p. This is actually in ultra widescreen mode. All the settings are completely maxed out, and it was hitting well over 150 frames per second. Very, very enjoyable gameplay. The attention to detail is absolutely amazing. At some point it was actually hitting well over 200 frames per second. So this computer could absolutely beast CSGO any day of the week. Happy days. So moving on to Paladins, my favourite game ever. This was on 1080p ultra settings, and it just kept on maxing out at the 150 frames per second mark, which was absolutely beautiful. I did see a couple of frames drops to the low 100s, during the menu system, but that was nothing to worry about. During the actual gameplay where it counts, it was absolutely fantastic. Very, very pin sharp and buttery smooth, which is exactly what you want in an esports title such like this. So we did, looking at the actual overall system, we did see some crazy things happening when we overclock the memory. I do actually want to do a video based around just the memory being overclocked on Ryzen and to see where the sweet spot actually really is, because I really am starting to struggle to believe that faster memory for Ryzen is better, because looking through them results, I beg to differ. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was a little bit different for you. So if you did like the video, please give it a thumbs up, give it a thumbs down if you didn't, and why not subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. And hopefully I'll see you in the next video. So until then, take care and bye.